Hello everyone and welcome to the 2023 Permian Basin Honor Flight Special. We'll share scenes from the trip to Washington, D.C. and veterans will share their stories. Let's begin with an overview of the Honor Flight. The Permian Basin Honor Flight is part of the Honor Flight Network. The mission, take veterans and Gold Star families from West Texas and West Central Texas to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials built in their honor. This year, 86 veterans were on board, 6 of those Korean War veterans and the rest Vietnam. There are several stops throughout the 3-day trip. On the flight to D.C., the veterans get taken back in time when they get mail call. These letters, cards, and drawings are done by elementary school students from around West Texas. Once the flight lands and the veterans enter the airport in Baltimore, they are shown more support.
Welcome home, brother.
Volunteers from the Honor Flight Network greet them on arrival. Strangers from all over the globe even stop to applaud, shake their hands, and take photos. Then it's off to the 3 charter buses. Stop after stop, the veterans are greeted, applauded, and hailed as the heroes they are. While this trip is healing, it can be difficult for some veterans. On each flight, there's always a variety of medical professionals and a chaplain and counselor available. But there's no denying this flight is also a lot of fun.
God bless the USA!
When the veterans get back home, most of their families say they've changed for the better. They're often more energetic and all around happier. They also have an easier time opening up about the past. The Permian Basin Honor Flight is always totally and completely free for veterans. On the flight, we often meet other veterans from around the nation, but there's no limit to the meaningful encounters the group can have. At the Lincoln Memorial, we met Priest Truth.
I love to tell my age. I'm 71 years old.
She goes to this area for at least 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, to pray for people and preach.
God, working a miracle on this day.
She says she's been in ministry for more than 40 years.
In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen and amen.
The organizers of the Honor Flight, all volunteers, also book guest speakers to address the group during dinner time.
It's a way for me to give back by sharing my story. It allows those that have served, especially those in Vietnam, as I mentioned, during a time when service was unpopular, and they came back without the thanks of a grateful nation.
Kim Mitchell is a senior advisor and VSO liaison for the Office of the Secretary of the Department of Veterans Affairs. She says she strives to connect veterans to the benefits they have earned. She also is a speaker and advocate for veterans.
Before they blew up the bridge, one last survivor stumbled across the bridge carrying a bundle. When they went to investigate, that bundle was a baby wrapped up in a towel and placed in a hat. And he asked this gentleman, he said, "Is this your child?" He said, "No. I found her lying alongside the road, trying to nurse on her dead mother." He said, "But I can't take her any further."
That baby was taken to an orphanage and eventually adopted by a U.S. airman who brought supplies to the children. That baby was Kim Mitchell.
In my small part, I'm able to show them that they did something that resulted in my life being able to serve and now give back, and so that they have a part of this overall impact that I am trying to have.
The main message she wants to share is one of hope and gratitude.
I would like to share to Vietnam veterans is that you are my why. I am able to do everything that I do because of you all. It's because of your service, it's because of your lives, it's because of who you are.
We've still got more up ahead, so keep it right here. Welcome back, everyone. We continue our exclusive coverage of the Permian Basin Honor Flight. James Flint was in the Air Force during the Vietnam era. After basic training, he wound up in San Angelo at Goodfellow Air Force Base. From there, he went to Japan, where his job was to gather intelligence.
One of the most interesting, of course, I'm one that still believes my oath is valid, and I wasn't supposed to tell anything supposedly at some of these things, but I was there And it was at the time of the Gulf of Tonkin incident in August of '64. And we were on high alert and just literally minutes away from possible major war.
Keeping his oath, James doesn't talk much about what happened during the years he served, but one thing he does share is his unique love story. In 1966, James met a woman named Yvonne at College Hills Baptist Church. He said they sat together during the services for a couple months. Then he asked her father, a chief master sergeant, if he could take her on a date.
And then here I am in Airman First Class, and I was scared to death.
They did go on that date, but...
And she dumped me.
Fast forward a few years, James married and had many wonderful decades with his wife, Ruth. Their plan was to move to San Angelo to a retirement community. That's when James called a friend to help look for houses. Yvonne answered that call.
And then Jim called out of clear blue sky. Now usually, people screen their calls. I answered the phone, and he wanted to know, do you remember me? And I said, vaguely, yeah. We went out on one date one time.
However, before any plans could be made, James's wife, Ruth, suddenly got sick and passed a short time later. Back in San Angelo, Yvonne was also grieving the loss of her husband, Bobby.
He got sick because of stuff that he was exposed to, and he passed away on May 11th, 2013. And I was a widow for a long time.
Now reconnected, Yvonne and James decided to meet up in San Angelo.
And at the exit, I said to her, I said, will you marry me? And she looked straight ahead and didn't look, what did you say? Or anything like that. But about 2 days later, she accepted it. So we were married in November of 2020.
The pair now focuses on all the good things in life and try to always have fun.
She does most of the talking for me, too.
James even recently accomplished a lifelong goal.
Doctor of Ministry from New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary.
He got that doctorate degree just 2 months shy of his 80th birthday.
Follow your dreams. Wherever, as this song goes, wherever you may go. Because if you have a goal, there must be a purpose. There is no deadline unless you're dead.
After all they've been through, separately and together, both say it's made them stronger, and despite the pain, they keep moving forward with no deadlines in sight.
It's been good. I don't have any regrets, and he's a kind, loving person.
We've still got more stories to share with you, so stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the 2023 Permian Basin Honor Flight Special. Here's more from our trip to Washington, D.C. The Korean War began in the summer of 1950. North Korea invaded South Korea, and the United States entered the war to aid South Korea. Records indicate that more than 5 million people died during that war that lasted from 1950 until an agreement was signed in July of 1953. The Korean War is often called the Forgotten War. This is due to the lack of publicity and public knowledge about the conflict. One stop on the Permian Basin Honor Flight includes the Korean War Memorial. This memorial was officially opened in July of 1995. There, 19 stainless steel statues represent the Marines, Army, Air Force, and Navy service members who were sent to fight. On a black granite wall are actual photographs from the Department of Defense of unidentified servicemen who were killed or who served in the Korean War. One of the goals of the Permian Basin Honor Flight is to let Korean War veterans know that what they did is not forgotten and that they are not forgotten. However, on this day, there was another group wanting to share the same message.
Without the U.S. soldiers, Korea is nothing. Now it's North Korea, it's like the same thing. This Korea is changes. The Korea government is the same. If without this United States soldiers, nothing. now United States because so the Korea is higher.
This group from South Korea and our group from West Texas didn't need to speak the same language to understand each other.
He's 94 now.
94. 20살 때 한국 가신 거예요. 지금 94입니다 지금.
Many from this group could not wait to thank the 6 Korean War veterans from our group in person.
Great, love it. That's beautiful. Yes.
자,
All
앉을게요.
faces. Great. Awesome. Thank you.
They wanted to shake their hands or simply touch the hands of the men who fought on their behalf.
Didn't do a whole lot, but I was over there, sir. I spent 18 months over there, ma'am.
18 months.
Yes, ma'am. In fact, I spent 2 Christmas there. People don't hardly believe that, but I was there that time. I was very fortunate, ma'am. I had sheds. We had a barracks. I slept in a good shed every night, so I have no complaints, sir. The good Lord took care of me.
Sir, so what did that mean for all of them to, really come up and say thank you and, show their appreciation?
No, I appreciate that, ma'am. More than you think I do, Like they say, sometimes you think the Korean War forgot about, but it's real, ma'am. It's real.
At this memorial, on this day, everyone saw just how real it was.
The U.S. Army, U.S. Air Force, U.S. Marines, respect. Thank you. 우리 한국군 참전하신 분에 박수 한번.
We've still got more up ahead, so keep it right here. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Let's hear more from the veterans of the Concho Valley.
Learning how to jump out of a perfectly good airplane with a parachute. So I went there, and after that, a few weeks after that, boom, the hammer came down. You're going to Vietnam, son, so go home for 30 days, take a leave, and come back on such and such a day, and you're gone. What can you say?
You were the government's property.
So there I went. March of 1971 was when I left and went to Vietnam. I get over there and I was basically an infantry guy.
But a medic.
But a medic, because every company or brigade or whatever had to have a medic out there, right, in the jungle, because we were out in the jungle. So they had to have a medic. So I was a medic and infantry because they asked me, Ramon, do you want to carry a rifle? Do you want that? And I looked at him. I said, well, of course I want that. I may be a medic, but I'm not stupid. I mean, I need something to defend myself, unless you want me to go in my medicine bag and start taking out needles and try to hurt the enemy that way. Give me a gun. Well, it was a rifle, an M16 rifle. Yeah. I love that thing. It was an amazing rifle. Anyway, I've been very fortunate in a lot of ways, because going through what I went through during that time, and I'll say during those months, because about 8 or 9 months later, they came and told us, we're going to start sending guys back home, and you got orders to go back home at such and such a date. So I only ended up spending...
Back to the States.
Back to the States. I only ended up spending 9 months and 22 days in Vietnam. But 95% of that was in the jungle. And with all the stuff that goes on in the war, plus the monsoon season was so horrific. Rain and rain and rain, day after day after day. You're sopping wet day and night. It was just horrible. Diagnosed by the VA with 70% disability for PTSD. But I also have heart issues, 30% disabled from my heart. And I have diabetes and no telling what
What
other
else?
melodies I might have because
sweet
of my
orange.
exposure to what they call Agent Orange. And Agent Orange was
Rampant.
something that they used to spray the jungle to make it easier for us to be able to see, because the jungle was so thick. They wanted
dark.
to do away or chop it up or move it out of the way, however way they could, and that's what the Army decided to do, spray a whole bunch of weed killer more or less all over the place. So definitely major exposure to Agent Orange, and I've got a lot of maladies from that, and there could be more down the road. You never know. I never told anybody that I was a Vietnam veteran.
He never did.
And
He
I
was
never
ashamed.
I never knew that the VA could have helped me since 1973 when I got out of the military. I had no clue, and then I heard other veterans would tell me about, oh yeah, you can go to the VA and they'll pay you, they'll give you money, they'll do it. I don't need any of that. I'm okay. There's nothing wrong with me. But
Right.
through the years, and until I got in my 60s when I said, okay, I'll do it. So finally I got hooked up with the VA, but I didn't know for 40 years that I could do that.
And so we didn't know we could get any help. We didn't know any of these things. We never took a penny for any handouts, for nothing, for nothing. I mean, we worked for what we had. And
I was just glad to be home.
but I will tell you this, that God has been gracious to us, because he got really, really sick last year. And he couldn't even stand up. We didn't understand. We do now, because we've had to go through a lot of help and a lot of therapy. All of us. All of us, right, Debbie?
Yeah, but
And this trip has
We're
been a
here-
healing
we're here now.
trip for him, because we're not there, not just for him.
you know, a lot of these
Brothers.
vets are like me, going through all these same issues, health-wise.
Yeah.
And then the ones that got injured and shot, you see, they're in wheelchairs. We need a lot of help, and some of us are not doing as well as others. But I've got to say this, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, or they're going to probably edit it out. But someone was looking out for me, and I know who that was. He was protecting me, and he protected me the whole time, and then he brought me home early. So I have to give my Lord and Savior kudos for everything he's done for me, up to this day, really, because he's been watching over me for a long time.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We finished the special by hearing what being a veteran means to the veterans themselves.
I've committed to my country everything that I have to preserve the peace and prosperity of all of our people.
It was a wonderful experience, and I enjoyed it so much. I only did 4 years, but they were some of the best 4 years of my life.
To look at all this makes it all worthwhile. But I'm glad that I went and somebody else didn't have to go.
Being a veteran means a lot to me. I joined up right after I finished high school, in honor of my country, faith, honor, and God in my country. And this is what being a veteran is to me. I'm proud to be a veteran, very proud.
Thank you all so much for watching. If you'd like more information about the Honor Flight, you can go to our website, ContraValleyHomepage.com. To all the veterans out there, thank you and welcome home.